All right, I've got one of my Stinger jump brakes in here right now, and I've been running. I run it through my pole sander. It's got 1,200 scratches on it right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to use the 1500 now, and I'm going to wet sand it with 1500. I mean, that's where I need to be right now. And so what I'll do is I'll prep it with the 1500. That's soapy water I'm using. I mean, it's the best way to do it. I just mix up Dove and a bottle and just throw it in there, and it's soapy water. It doesn't have any, not adding any oils or anything in it to cause any problems. So that's what I do. I'll use this 1500, and I've got my machines probably spinning about 15, 16, 1800 RPMs. It's pretty fast. What I got to do is I can use that 1500 enough to take down those 1200 scratches. That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. Is I'm cutting the 1500, the 1200 scratches out of it. Which you can use buffing compounds to do it. They got buffing compounds that will cut the 1200 scratches, but I can use the paper. It's twice as fast. And as you'll notice, I've got the 3000 on here right now, and I'm cleaning up the 1500 with the 3000. And then of course when I use I'm going to try a new CSI product here in a second that I just got in. It's supposed to be better polish, blah 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 blah, but it doesn't have any cutting. It's just a polish, so it should be actually used at the end. Now I'm going to wipe off all the nasty grit and stuff, which the fact that it's there. Now this is the CSI that I was talking about. Now this is polish. Polish only enhances what you do. It doesn't do any cutting. It just polishes and enhances what it's got. But I mean, that's what it is. It's a ceramic deal. I know we use it on other stuff, but I'm just gonna give it a shot and see if it makes any difference. I'm just working 3000 scratches with it. I'm gonna just see if it'll shortcut it. I mean, that's the whole thing about this, is finding a combination that really works. And you can see it on the end there on the butt. It kind of enhanced it a little bit, but it's not going to overcome those 3000 scratches. I can tell you that right now. That's why it looks a little dull. And I'm putting enough pressure on it that it's almost stopping the lay. Of course, this is a little dinky, lay. Okay, now I see that's, it did some good, but it serves no purpose at this point. Should be something that's done at the very after. I'll be testing it more later. I just had to see if it was just as good as it is. I also got some mirror glaze coming in from Meguiar's that's supposed to be the next step past what I'm going to do here in a minute with the Ultimate Compound, because I use the Ultimate Compound Meguiar's right here. The key to this is you get it on there, and then you pull on it. You get it enough that you can feel the heat. When you start feeling the heat, you're going to be actually doing some cutting, and you're going to actually be doing polishing at the same time. But this Meguiar's is made to take out impurities, scratches, and everything else. So it's pretty good. And there's some others out there that you can do. I mean, I know some polishes you can spend $60, $80 a quart if you want to, but I mean, I got one of those $80 quarts sitting in the back, perfected, and it's not as good as this Meguiar's right here. And if you ever look at the test results on YouTube and stuff like that, they're always trying to compare it to Meguiar's. So maybe there's something is to Meguiar's. I like Meguiar's because it tells you the cutting factor on the front of the bottles, and that makes it pretty handy. I mean, I could go up there and grab one of my diamond cuts, which is a 10, which would remove, a 12 1,200 scratches, and then come back and then use the one, cut it with about a number 5 or 6 and cut those scratches out, and then go back and get another one that cuts 3 and cut those scratches out, and then go down to a number 1 to kind of get it all cleaned out up. And that's the beauty of the way the Meguiar's has got it. It's got the numbers in front. You just do it by the numbers. Now this is using the Meguiar Ultimate Compound on it. Now it looks like it's not doing a whole lot, but like I said, when I come back here and wipe off the you know, the residue, the dry residue. Now here's what I like to use. This is the Meguiar glaze, and it's only a 1 cut. Well, the Ultimate Compound is probably I'd say a 3 cut, and this is probably a 1 cut, and it does a pretty good job. And you can see it's on the butt section there. You can see how it's beginning to take a little bit of shine, not a whole lot, but it's taking some. And then just use this machine glaze and go from there. And I put enough pressure on it, I can feel the heat. When I can feel the heat, I know I'm working. This is one of my Stinger jump brakes. They're a $375 cue, so it's not like I spend as much time as I do a $2,000 or $3,000 cue. Jump brake cues don't get any respect anyway. Everybody really bangs them, slaps balls, slap tables, throw them around. They just don't. I don't know. They don't treat them the same as they would their playing cue. I don't know why jump brakes get abused like they do, but they just do. Now I'm wiping off the residues while I'm doing this paper towel, which Bounty paper towel is equivalent to about 3,000 grit, in case you're wondering. What about a paper towel? Like Bounty is about 3,000 grit paper. So if you're cleaning off residue, you're actually buffing it with 3,000 and doing it all at the same time. Now I'm fixing to take my buffer, and I'm going to put the machine glaze on it, that number 1 on it, and I'm going to put some on it. That's an orbitable side angle. You know, it looks like an angle grinder, but it's not. It's an orbital deal. It's about a $50 item at Amazon. Little deco, and said I spin that on there a little bit and get it slobbered on good. Now I'll turn it on, and here we go. You can see how hard I'm pressing on it. I've got it on about, not the lowest setting, but about two up from the slowest setting is where I run it. And I have my other lathe running, 1,200-1,500 RPMs. Now I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to wipe off any residue. You look at the butt cap, that Lakota butt cap, and you can kind of see that it's beginning to shine up a little bit. But it's close. Alright, what I'm going to probably do now, I'm going to take it out, and I've got another buffer that I'm fixing to use on it, but here's kind of how it looks a little bit right there, what I've done. You can see here. Sorry about the shaking, that's because I'm moving my camera over to do it, so I can just do this all at one swoop. This way you see whatever the time of this video is, you'll see exactly how long it took me to do this from start to finish. Now what that is on those buffing wheels, that's a pair of 10-inch, and then it has like a 6-inch in the center. So all I have to do is, now I'm gonna I gotta turn my power on to it. But what it is, I've got a 1-inch, 6-inch in the middle between those two tins. That gives me a gap that I can actually run this cue in. So if I go in one side with material on it, and I use a sealant, synthetic sealant 2.0 mirror glaze, and it does a pretty good job. I think there's some stuff that's better. I've been just trying that recently. I've seen sort of somebody had tried it on the internet, and I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm not crazy about the purple. The purple ends up getting my wheels a little bit on the dark side, but I kind of charge it this way. Now I just take it here, and you can see how I just kind of seesaw it in there in between the two deal. I'll swap to the other side so you can see what I'm doing. See, one side wipes it on, one side wipes it off. I mean, and I'm pushing pretty hard. That's a 1750 RPM Coswell buffer. I bought that one at Grizzly, I guess, 15 years ago or something like that. And I put a little black mark right there on it from that trash can, but you can't hurt it. So I'm gonna buff it out real quick. It just tells you how much pressure I'm putting on this thing to buff it. Now, this is the way I've been buffing my cues now for about 15 years. Years ago I had a rod, a 7/8 rod, and put it through, and I had about 8 buffing wheels on it, and kept gapped on all of them. That way I had them all, and I put it in my lay, and I'd spin my lay at about 1,000 RPM and do all the cues. But I'm just pointing it out about that 6-inch down there inside of it. That keeps you from going too far, too deep, and it'll actually buff on it too. Now on the other end I have a real loose furry wheel on it, and it really will clean everything off, and it'll do a fine little buff ditty on it. But as you'll look at it here, that looks acceptable for $375 cue. That'll kind of work. It's just that maple don't They don't have a whole lot to shine and show through on it, but that's just plain clear white, just clear white maple. This is 15 minutes and 34 seconds right now. Okay. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna grab my camera and I'm gonna take it outside. Just do it all one time. Just whatever this thing runs from start to finish, including all this, will be how long it takes me to do this. That maple's so clean and white, it's kind of hard to see anything really super shiny.